Hi everybody and welcome to my channel. I'm Mandy. So today we're going to do a quick and easy get ready for school makeup look. This is a natural look that most parents, teachers, and friends would approve of. It's not over the top and it's quick and easy to do. So let's get started. First, let's tie up our hair. Now we're talking high schoolers or maybe even college kids. So you probably don't have a lot of discoloration along your face or dark circles up under your eyes. Well, you might from all those sleepless nights doing homework, right? You know what I'm saying? So, first things first, we're going to do our eyes. And the reason I say do your eyes first is this way if you have any fallout from your makeup, it's easier to clean up here without messing up your foundation. So today we're going to use the Revlon Photo Ready Eye Contour Kit in number 517 Eclectic. Beautiful, right? Okay. And it comes with two of their own little applicators. They're little sponge applicators. But for me personally, I prefer to use brushes. So the first color we're going to go into is we're actually going to use a different palette for my transitions shade. For the crease, I am going to use my Wet n Wild Rosé in the Air number 758. I'm sorry. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is get the palette open here. Okay, we are going to use a primer. It will actually help your makeup or your eye makeup stay on all day during school and not crease. So I'm going to be using my, I have two of them, sorry. I think today I'm going to use the Hard Candy eyeshadow primer, Eyes the Limit. Just going to take a little on my finger here. Dab, dab, dab. Make you look fab. You don't really want to rub and pull on your eyes because it actually can cause premature wrinkles and aging. You just really don't want that. So I suggest you just kind of lightly dab until you get it all blended real well, and give your face and your eyes a minute to absorb. So now we're going to go to the other eye. A little bit here. Remember also, before you actually start your makeup, which I guess I forgot to mention, to make sure your face is prepped, because prep is super, super important. So clean your face and use a good moisturizer. I like to use micellar water to clean. So, and then my moisturizers just vary. Today I used a Pond's Ultra Moisture face cream. So, okay. Let's let that sit for another second or two. Okay. Sorry. Dropped something. In the back. Okay. So as I was saying, we're going to get a fluffy brush. Which, you know, it's lovely whenever you're trying to do something like this. You're nervous and you just start forgetting what you've done with everything, but that's okay. So I'm going to go into this shade right here, this white shade, and I'm going to put it on my fluffy brush here, and we're going to put it all over the eyelid. You want to blend it really well. And this is going to give us a smoother base to apply our eyeshadow so that it doesn't crease or wrinkle later on. Okay, so now that we have that on, we're going to go into the Revlon Photo Ready Eye Contour Kit that I was talking about earlier. And let's see here, we want to use another fluffy brush, a smaller fluffy brush though. This is my e.l.f. blending eye brush here. I guess I've got some glitter stuck in it still, but that's okay. Okay, so we're going to go into this really pretty greenish colored shade. Okay. And we're going to apply it in the crease right here. So very lightly. Start at the outer corner and work your way in. Remember that the first place that you put your brush is going to have the most pigment. So always place it at the outer corner or wherever you want your highest amount of pigment at. And we're going to blend that out. Go back in here, add a little bit more. It's very, very pigmented, so, but it does blend very nice. See? Okay. Now we're going to move on to the second eye. Again, outer corner. And working our way in towards the nose, light strokes here, just in the crease. Okay, so they look pretty even. So next thing we're going to do is go back to our Wet n Wild palette and get our fluffy brush again. Dip back into that light shade and just very lightly go over the crease to soften any lines that we have and just make it a little bit more blended. Okay, so our next color that we're going to use out of the Revlon palette is going to be this nice little blue shade that's in here, but we need to get another fluffy brush, a clean one. Again, it's a blending eye brush from e.l.f. and we're going to go into this blue color right here. Lightly put it on our brush. Like I said, these are highly pigmented, so you really don't have to dig into the palette. Okay, and we're going to place it right here on the outer corner again and go in just a little. And go up just underneath the green that we placed earlier. I don't know if you can see that there. There we go. Just underneath the green. And remember to blend, blend, blend. It's very important to blend your colors together and not have any harsh lines. Okay. Now we're going to do the other eye. Same way. Outer corner here. Just underneath the green. Make sure we work our brush and just a little bit on the lid there. Okay. Next, we're going to do what's known as a cut crease. So, to do that, we need some concealer. I'm using my Maybelline Fit Me in number 20 Sand Sable. And I'm going to get a little brush, a little one here. I'm going to put a little bit of concealer on it. What we're going to do is go over our eyelid, like so, up to the crease. We're going to place carefully on there. Get a little bit more here. Sure, you're very careful to keep it pretty even. Now let it dry a little so that it doesn't mess up your upper crease. And then go ahead and do the other eye. So you have it even here. Okay. Now that we've cut our crease, as you can see, now we're going to go back into our Revlon palette. Sorry, I have a 12-year-old over here who's deciding to do something, I'm not sure what. Okay, but this time we're going to go into this lighter white shade here, again with another fluffy brush. And we're going to put this right here on our eyelid. Pack it on there pretty good. I don't know. Okay. Maybe actually work a little bit better if we use our finger here. So we're going to pack that on this inner corner. Like so. There we go. And now we're going to do the same to the other eye. Pack it on the inner corners. I don't know if you can really see it there, but okay. Now we are going to do the next part here. I'm going to take, this is by Muda, I believe is how you say it, but it's their smoky eye brush, and we're going to go into the purple color here. We're going to get our brush good and coated. Now we're going to go on this outer corner here and put our purple. Like so. Again here. Isn't that pretty? Okay, now we're going to do the other eye. Go. Make sure that they're at the halfway point of your eye. Okay. Now we're going to go into the silver color in the palette here. And we're going to put it on the inner corner here, or the inner lid, like so. We're going to get the other side here. Now, next are our eyebrows. No, actually, sorry. Let's do our foundation next. After we make sure that our eyes are good and blended together. Take this purple again. This blue just a little bit up there. Take it up just a little to blend it. We don't want any harsh lines. And blend it a little bit into that silver. Okay. Next is foundation. But before we can do it, we need to put on a primer. So I like to use my Hard Candy Longwear Primer. Basically, it just helps your makeup stay a little bit longer. And I don't put it all over my face. I put it in the areas that I notice my makeup tends to come off. So here around the nose. Here around the hairline, and I also put it in any areas like here that I may have a few wrinkles. I don't think at your ages you guys should have any. And then I put it here and up under my eyes. And then just rub it in. Okay, let that sit and marinate on your face for a minute. Sorry, beauty wipe. Okay. Now, for me, I actually have to use a color corrector on my face because I have some redness. I don't know if you can really see it on camera, but I have some here and along my nose. So, I'll show you what I use here. Oop. Actually a Wet n Wild Photo Focus Correcting Palette. See that? Okay, so what I do is I use the yellow up under my eyes because I do have dark circles. And like I said, don't pull on your face because it causes premature wrinkling. Then I use the green on any spots on my face that are red. So my chin here. My cheeks. There we go. Now finally it's time for foundation. So I use number 7 Lift and Illuminate foundation. To be honest, I don't remember the color that this one is, but I think it's like their medium, I'm not sure. And then I like to use my CoverGirl Smoothers BB cream. It's light to medium, number 810. And what I do is I just place a little of each on the back of my hand. See? And I use a damp beauty blender to put it all over my face. So we're going to do that next here. And we just pat it in. Don't rub, because when you rub, it's actually going to remove any product that you've already placed. So just lightly dab and just keep patting until you get it nice and blended and worked in. And go along your chin here, down onto your neck, and under your ear just a little. And it's just to make sure that the coloration between your face and your neck are the same. So, sorry, I kind of ran out of product on my hand there. Thought I had enough. Add some more here. Okay. Now, the reason I actually use the BB cream with it is I like the glow that it gives me. It's not as mattifying as just my number 7, because I actually do not have oily skin, and for an everyday more natural look, I actually like a little glow. I think it helps to brighten the skin quite a bit. So like I said, just keep patting until you've worked all the product along your face and it's nice and even. And if you don't want something that's like heavy full coverage, BB cream is really great by itself. I want a little bit more coverage simply because I don't know if you could tell whenever we started out, but I definitely have some discoloration in my face, and the number 7 helps with that. So just keep patting until you're nice and blended. Okay, now that we've got our foundation on and blended, sorry, I'm definitely an over blender. I will sit here patting my face for hours to make sure it's blended. But okay, now that we've got that done, we want, for anyone that actually does have dark circles, you're going to want to use a concealer. Now, I used 2 different ones. You've seen my Maybelline Fit Me earlier. Now, it's got more of a yellowing tone, where the one that I'm fixing to use under my eyes is my NYX HD, and it's in Fair. And I use a lighter color with less yellowing for under my eyes because it helps to brighten up my face. So I just use a little bit. Like I said, this is just an everyday, non-dramatic look. So I'm not going to come all the way down here like you see so many YouTubers do. We're just going to dab this along here. Bring it up to straighten up anything that you may have missed along with your eyeshadow there. Okay. Sometimes it's easier just to use your finger instead of your beauty blender, especially whenever you've already placed your eyeshadow, because if you're not careful when you're using your beauty blender, you may actually take off some of your eyeshadow. Okay, now that it's all blended, we need to bake that. Okay, baking is important because it helps set that makeup to where you don't end up with it wrinkling and settling later. So I actually use the L'Oreal Paris Infallible Pro Sweep and Lock translucent powder, and I just knock a little down into the lid, and then I grab, hang on a second here, my big fluffy brush, which I have right here. It's just a powder brush, and I go into my powder here and I get a little bit and I just put it up under my eyes. To set that in. And yes, this is a rather messy part here, but beauty is messy sometimes, so. And we're going to let this sit for a few minutes up under our eyes. Okay. Next, we're going to do brows. Okay, as you notice, I don't really have much for brows, but I don't really like to go over the top with my brows, so I like to use a powder And I have the Broadway Colors eyebrow kit here. Let's see if it tells what color. Rich chocolate brown is the color. So I use an angled brush, which I have here. Little angled brow liner brush. And what I do is I go into this darker color that's in here. Hang on, I'll show you. Right here on the end. I put some on my brush, and what I do is I very carefully line my brow. To give it the shape that I want and the thickness that I want that may not currently be there on its own. Extend the tail just a little here. Okay. Then I still using that same color. I go in and I use small itty bitty strokes to fill in the hairs. Then what I do after I get done with those ends there, I use the middle color, the lighter color that's in the palette, and I continue filling in the hairs. Okay. Once I'm fairly satisfied with it, I use a spoolie. Brush the hairs up and in the direction I want them to go. And I look at my brow and make sure, you know, the coloration's even, which just so happens in the middle there, it's not quite so even. I'm going to go back in with the darker color and finish filling it in. There we go. Go back over with my spoolie one more time to fix those hairs. Sorry about that. Okay, now I'm going to do the other eyebrow off camera and I'll be right back. Okay, as you can see, they're done. Now, what I also do is I use a little bit of that same concealer that I used under my eyes to clean up my brows. Just, you know, oops. There we go. Being careful not to remove any of my eye makeup. And I just kind of lightly clean it up here. Okay. Sorry, be right back. Okay, let's get this other eyebrow cleaned up. So I just use a tiny brush sometimes as well, unless I have a bigger area to clean up, like I did on my other eye. And then go along the eyebrow and sharpen it up. Okay. Tap that in. Okay, now that we're done doing that, I would say that our baking has been on long enough, so we're going to brush it off. Now we're going to do cheeks. So I'm not real big on contouring, but I do contour some. And the palette that I like to use, let's see if I can re-find it here, is my NYX Away We Glow. What I do, I actually use a foundation brush, and I'm going to go into this middle darker shade, not the darkest, it's the lighter of the darker shades. And what you do is you kind of suck in your cheeks really good, and that defines that area there. You just work your contour into that area. Okay, and then I don't like my chin area, so I actually go along my jawbone here, and I use that same color on both sides here. Okay, next I'm going to be using blush, and the color I actually really like is Butter Blush. Sorry, and it's by Physicians Formula. It's really creamy, just blends easily, and oh, it smells so good. It's like sunscreen. It just smells good. So what I do is I kind of smile, and we're going to place it on the apples of our cheeks and work it back, blending. So here we go. Blend back. Blending. There we go. Then I also bronze, and to do that I actually use bronzing brush here by e.l.f. and I go into the darker shade here and I just lightly tap, and then I go up along my forehead here in circular motions up into the hairline, and I bring it down. And it just adds a little bit more color to your face, like you've been out in the sun. Do that on the other side. Again, work it up into the hairline because we want it to blend with our skin. We don't, want any harsh lines. Okay. Now, once again, we're going to use our moist beauty blender. We're going to get a little bit of that setting powder again. And we're going to go along the cheek here, just to make that nice and crisp where we contoured at earlier. Now we need to do eyelashes. So I always curl my eyelashes first. And while I'm not going to do it here in this video, a good tip for getting a real good curl on them is use a blow dryer and slightly heat your eyelash curler up, cool it, enough to where it's not going to burn your eyes, and then curl them. And it'll actually help the curl last longer, hold, and get a better curl. So let's curl them. As you're curling, kind of pull up and you'll get a good curl as well. Let's do that one again. Okay. Now we're going to do the other one. Okay, now I use my mascara, and at this time my favorite mascara is the Maybelline New York Rocket Volume Express Hydrofuge, and it's in black. Now the best way to put it on is kind of tip your head down, get really close to the root of your eyeliner, eyelashes, because it'll actually make them look thicker. Okay. and I blink during that time. There we go. Let that coat dry. Go to the other eye doing the same thing. Good and close to your root of your eye lash. Kind of wiggle your wand back and forth. It helps to separate the hairs and make them look thicker and longer, and it separates them. Okay, and then go along the bottom here and just put a light coat on your bottom lashes. Perfect. Now we only have one more thing left to do besides remove our bake here, and that's lips. And today I think with this bold eye look, I want to go with a more neutral lip. So today I'm going to use my Katy Perry CoverGirl Tabby Tease lip gloss. Now for some girls, they like to overline or use more on their lips to make them look bigger. I personally don't. So I'm going to place my lip gloss here. Now we're going to remove our powder here along our cheeks. And we have one more thing to do here besides eyeliner, and that is just a very light glow. I'm going to use my Maybelline Total Temptation Shadow and Highlight Powder. And I'm going to go into this purple shade, and I'm going to place it on a Real Techniques brush. It's actually the contour brush, but I like it for my highlight. We're going to lightly go right here in the cheekbone. Okay, and we're going to do the other side. Now we're going to go into the lighter color, and we're going to do the same. And this isn't a real dramatic highlight, so we're going to go right here onto the cheek, the very top of our cheekbone. Highlight the cheeks. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's actually very pretty. There we go. Can you see that? Okay. And then I'm also going to go into my NYX Away We Glow and use this bottom shade here. And we're going to go along the top of the cheek again. Just kind of make it a little bit more dramatic. And do the same on this side. And then I'm going to go into this lighter shade up here and with my finger. I'm just going to place it right here on my Cupid's bow and my nose. Okay. And then we're going to take this brush and really get that powder fixed from earlier. Get it off our face the rest of the way. Now we're going to do eyeliner. which I like a pencil, not one that you sharpen, but one that you twist up, and it's in black. And I just kind of hold my eye. I don't pull down on it, because once again, we don't want to give ourselves wrinkles. I'm just going to go along my waterline on both sides here. Done. And then I'm going to take a finishing spray. It's NYX Matte Finny Matte setting spray, and I'm just going to mist my whole face. Feels so good. And voila, we're done. So it's a simple look. I know it took a little while, but that's partly my fault. I'm not used to being on camera. Like I said, this is my first video. But I want to thank you again all for watching, and I hope you like the look, and I hope that we can see each other again on a future video. Bye!